Hi, it's Joy and today I'm going to be watching Cobra Kai Season 1, Episode 6, Quiver. I'm very excited, kinda nervous. Johnny's gonna have a class now rather than just 2 kids, so I'm excited to see what happens there. What is Robbie up to? Let's go. Reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction and all of my reactions on my Patreon 2 weeks in advance, the edited version 1 week in advance, and let's go. Ah, a quiver of cobras, interesting.
And what is that way? Strike first, strike hard, no mercy, sir!
Breeding toxic young men. And now you're the sensei. I wonder if there's any branding or anything. Like, did he have to fight to get, like, apply for the legal rights to call him Cobra Kai? Oh, has he ever been in charge of a group of kids before? Teenagers terrify me. To be honest, I worked at a primary school. Year 6s terrified me.
Okay, today we begin.
Okay, like, yeah. With kids, you do need to be firm. But I don't know that you need to be, like, drill sergeant.
Joking, it sucks.
Oh, great. Why don't you bully these kids?
Word of advice, if you got shit for teeth, don't smile. God makes me feel like a virgin just looking at you.
How old is that child?
Losers, I see nerds. I see a fat kid with a funny hat with his tits popping out.
He wouldn't wear that shirt. Kids, leave, okay? Because, yes, learning karate, learning some kind of self-defense so that should you get jumped by a bully, you can fight back. And maybe even in the absolute rarest of occasions, you could strike first, although you'd probably just get jumped by like 12 of them. Miguel got quite lucky in that fight. And he had learned a lot of stuff. But there is no excuse. I don't care whether you love Johnny's methods, whether you personally think we should all run around striking first. There is no excuse for him to be verbally abusing these kids because, like, he does not know any of these children beyond Miguel. He does not know whether the kid he's just currently verbally abusing is on his last legs. He's been bullied at school. Maybe his parents are bullying him as well. Maybe his toxic parents at home. We don't know. Maybe he thought this was his chance. He was going to come here. It looked out for that Miguel. Miguel came here as this weedy kid and now he's fighting off the bullies. I'm going to be, like, someone's finally going to take me seriously. Someone's going to look out for me. You get verbally harassed. You don't know where these kids are. There is no excuse for bullying. And I would leave. I mean, admittedly, I am a coward, so maybe I would wait until his back was turned and then leave, but I would leave because I would be like, I'm not here to be a party to bullying. And just because you're an adult, that doesn't make it better. That actually makes it worse than when it's the kids in school bullying.
I've also seen some miracles. So...
And I don't like that Miguel is becoming the kind of kid that smiles smugly and proudly at a man who's just been harassing some vulnerable teenagers that came to him for help. I like Johnny deep down. I think deep down Johnny is a good man, but I think this is going to get so many dislikes. I can't deal with this grown adult man harassing children and being unspeakably rude to them because they could say all sorts of insults back at him, things that are not appropriate to say to anybody else.
Some hope for you yet.
Is that true of you? Is there hope for you yet?
So everybody fall in.
It's their first lesson.
That means
He's finding himself again. Lost himself a wee bit in his whole rich man world. Sorry, another comment that I know I just rant about Johnny all the time. I know people have referred to him as he's so funny. He's the comic relief. I don't find verbally abusing people funny.
Hey, what's going on? You going
She's being bullied.
No, not today. Great.
Tell your parents about it.
Let's try to remember what happened 10 years ago when you and I hit the mat for a little karate.
We'll teach him some karate.
For you to do a little karate with your dad.
You should have been doing that with him. You did it with Sam when she was much younger.
Right there. Look.
But that is such a thing that happens with parents. And
This little fireballs. Alexa, order a new PS Vita.
No. Alexa, override. Parental override.
no, that's, like, to me, that's just not funny. That's a spoiled brat who needs to be sat down and talked to. And, like, okay, yeah, if he really doesn't want to do karate, I believe he has the right to say no. That's not the brattish thing, but it's not listening to his dad. It's not you know, when his dad takes away his game, it's ordering another one when those are not cheap. Like, just... I really, really want to like this show, and I do like this show. I am invested, but I just don't find things like that funny.
Why? My dad hates his guts. When he finds out I'm working for him, he's gonna lose his shit.
Okay, is it just as simple as a childish thing like that?
Freaky lip, who do you think I'm talking to?
Excuse me, Mr. Lawrence?
Sensei Lawrence.
I'm sorry, he can have my respect when he fucking earns it.
Can't expect people to do what they're supposed to do.
Yes, and he's fucking aware of that. That's why he's being bullied in school. And that's why he has come here to try and learn something to help build up his self-confidence. There's no excuse for adults to enable this kind of behaviour. Like, yeah, okay, if, you know, yes, it would be wrong to say to him, oh yes, you have a normal lip, it doesn't look different. But there is no need to make out that that is the defining feature of him, or of his entire appearance. Like, I just... If Johnny is... as he is now, is your favourite, and you love him, and you don't ever want to hear someone be critical of him, maybe I'm not for you as a reactor.
We're paying him. He works for us.
Okay, that's got a bit obnoxious. I'm sorry, if you're opening a karate dojo to teenagers, you're gonna expect some smart mouths. You got, like, if I was just leave, just don't be here. A guy that just goes around assaulting people on their appearance. Especially a grown man doing it to children. He has learnt nothing.
Is that all you got, princess?
It's not the 80s anymore, Jonathan.
Yeah, but he's not that bad of a guy. You've got to give him a chance.
I'm sorry, Miguel. I love you, I really do. You've got a heart of gold. But one of these jumped up bullies that attacks you every day and insults people in their appearance and everything grows up and then does it to just... If Johnny had visibly been trying to do it well, I would give him so much more credit than the fact that he walked in, they didn't immediately snap to attention because they're kids. What the fuck do you expect? You have to be a bit like, okay, well, like, you know, be firm, you know, be like, cell phones aside, shoes off, get in rows, you know, like, be strict with them, but being strict with kids does not involve insulting the children and bullying the children and being like, yes, all you're ever going to be is your physical deformity, or all you're ever going to be is your appearance. That's it. That's what everyone's going to judge you by. Like, obviously, these kids have reached this point in their life being bullied every day at school. They are aware that to ignorant, small-minded people like Johnny, like the bullies at their school, that is all they're ever going to be. But that is just... It's not being politically correct or anything to just teach kids to fuck those people's opinions, that when you leave school, you are no longer going to be trapped in the same little bubble as those small-minded idiots. You're going to be able to go find your own places, find your own people, find a position where if someone treats you like shit, you get to leave and not just have an adult treat you the same way. And Miguel is such a good kid, yet he watched as Johnny verbally assaulted every single one of those children, and then was like, oh no, when one of them stood up to him. I am proud of that kid for fucking standing up to Johnny. He's quite irritating, but you know, like, his points initially were valid.
Hey, see that Porsche 911 over there? It's a Butte, right?
Don't haze
I've been
him.
wanting to move it up. Okay.
Are you hazing him? Toxic men are everywhere in this show. Like, I hate hazing culture as well.
Because she gives blowjobs. Get it? Blow pop? Blow job?
See, this as well is why bullying culture thrives, because the kids that get bullied, when they see the attentions on somebody else, join in and act like it's funny because they think it protects them. And I'm not excusing anyone in this situation. I'm not excusing Samantha because she didn't say anything when she was seeing it done until the point when she did stand up to somebody, and this is where it got her. But ugh. Like, that could get him fired. Men are children. They really are. I mean, I get that that's a typical salesman or jerks type behaviour. Don't touch him.
Listen, I'm sorry for calling you out inside, all right? That's on me. I should have heard your side of it. You're not the only one with a temper around here.
This is being an adult. That is being a responsible boss. I mean, he should also go and have a word with his employee in there. Though actually, would that make it worse? Because it would, I don't know, kind of put out a general no hazing memo.
Yeah, someone had to take care of those assholes.
It's done nothing to help her situation. No one is standing up for her at all. And she didn't stand up for other people, so
Pretty nice roundhouse.
these kids are growing up.
When you lift up your foot like that, it's just all the weight to your back leg.
Is she going to get interested in it again to try and impress Miguel?
Wow. Yeah, I guess you're right. Not anymore.
Violence isn't always the answer. The adults in this school should be doing more about the bullying.
Where's everyone?
You're an abusive asshole.
Nose ring. You could be at home playing your iComputers, playing your video games.
Did he seriously go in a cave in a medically induced coma from the 80s till now?
It was worse before that? Or did the doctor just screw? Because if this is the after photo, then that sucks.
Miguel, stand up for him.
Please change the topic.
You know, wait, really? Another quitter?
You're an abusive asshole.
Go away. No more lessons today.
You need a fucking lesson.
Right, they're losers. Maybe I'm a loser too.
To Johnny, you are.
You gonna cry now too?
No, it.
Because Johnny is still that high school bully. And it's not
I know
funny.
what it's like to be us.
It's sad. Miguel, go find yourself a better dojo. Wake up, Jonathan. And I don't even know if his name is Jonathan. I'm just going to call him that when I'm pissed off with him.
It's been brought to my attention that what I did is considered not to be professional.
This is how adults handle bullying situations, my god.
For you?
I mean, is he lashing out at these children because he feels like his own life is empty? Because that is not the answer. But being a teacher is one of the most rewarding things you can do. Working with kids, helping them reach their fullest potential. That's what he could be doing with his life. Were Miguel's words a wake-up call? And like I keep saying, and I do want to repeat, part of why I am so hard on Johnny is because I do believe he is capable of doing better. If I thought he was just out and out a jerk, I would just be, I would barely be reacting to him because I would be waiting for his scenes to end. I do think he has it in him because I think he cares about Miguel, maybe even initially, despite his, what he actually, despite like not wanting to care about Miguel. But it doesn't excuse everything he's doing. It doesn't mean it's totally, it makes it worse that he is being the same high school bully he used to be to children when he is a grown adult.
Look, the kid's a social reject. He doesn't have a single friend.
So he was a
This is
loser.
how we can make some friends.
Make some friends. So, you want to be the next Bruce Lee, huh?
So often bullies are, there are bullies who are just genuinely evil people. But there are also bullies who it comes from a place of their own insecurity. But that still does not excuse him treating children that way when he's an adult. It maybe explains part of why he bought so heavily into the Cobra Kai mindset as a child. But he's had so many years since then. Okay, that helps me understand you a little better, that like your life was miserable. You felt like you had no friends and you were probably being bullied because, woo, American high schools. But or middle schools. It doesn't excuse everything, and you need to do better now. And maybe I can like you if he does better.
Did you sense that I was here?
Reflection.
Yeah, right. Here's a sales report. Yes.
There is a sweet kid in there.
Yeah.
Where's the punching?
Oh, karate isn't all punching and kicking. It's actually
Thank
more
you.
about balance.
That didn't even really look like karate.
Oh, blue
That is what is helpful to teach children.
You want to stick around? Learn a few things.
To be honest, I think if Johnny was just teaching his strike first, but he wasn't verbally abusing kids the whole time and, you know, hitting them and, like, being like, oh, be a man, that kind of toxic mindset, I would find the strike first less violently awful than I do. That's what he would have dreamt his dad had been like with him. And his dad has it deep down in him to be like that. A few are here now. They're all in their lines, all 12 of them.
More absences, Sensei.
Bunch of pussies.
No. No!
I've humiliated you.
Mm-hmm.
Some of you I've hit.
Yeah.
And for that, I don't apologize. Cobra Kai is about strength.
Yes, and you don't have
If you're
any.
not strong on the inside, you can't be strong on the outside.
But you
Right
can't
now, you're all weak.
teach them that by destroying them.
And I know
That is not a healthy way to teach them.
because I was you.
This is healthy, or at least something.
I had to shed my loser skin to find my true power.
But the toxic mindset, you've already got one of your students saying, you're a bunch of pussies, when they didn't want to be verbally abused all day. Like, he is teaching terrible lessons to these children. And he could be teaching them such better lessons. He has all of the capability in there. Oh.
Flipping the script.
Wait, you the kid with the lip?
Obviously.
Cut, bro. You become badass.
It's not all that matters. You can still be strong and confident. You can still have a fulfilling life if you're just who you are naturally. And if that is what society deems to be geeky and nerdy,
No sensei.
actually fear fucking does exist. You're not brave if you, I don't have fear. That's not brave, that's just dumb. If you have fear and you fight through it and you manage to do it anyway, that's when you're fucking brave. I'm so angry at Johnny right now. I mean, like, part of me's like, oh, he connected with them emotionally, that's nice. And then the rest of me's like, what is he doing to these children? Like, yes, he's gonna, ultimately it will make them stronger and able to stand up to the bullies or whatever, but they're just, it's gonna also give them a lifetime of poor mental processes and psychological issues, like he has.
Pain does not exist in this dojo.
Actually, it fucking does.
Defeat does not exist in this dojo.
And actually, yes, that is a part of life, learning to cope with losing, learning to cope with losses, and keep going, and get up again, and keep fighting. Oh, these poor children. Do, like, karate dojos get inspectors or something, someone to come in to make sure that children aren't being abused or treated abusively and given abusive mindsets? Because that's not Johnny's intention. And I do understand that he thinks he's doing the right thing here, but it's just so not the right thing. And that's not me being PC or woke or anything. That is just me having common sense with how to treat children. His goal, his, I think deep down his desire is just to help these kids, but also he's the same guy who at the beginning of the episode was like disappointed because he only had the losers. He thought he was going to get all the jocks coming in. Like, okay, so I have talked a lot about Johnny in the middle of the episode, so I will try to keep this short. And I basically want to say, I know it's been quite controversial that I don't like Johnny. I mean, I don't dislike him, but I also want to scream at him a lot of the time. Because what he's teaching is not healthy. Kids shouldn't be taught, like, that they've basically, it's such a toxic mindset that is not healthy. Yeah, there are different approaches. I'm sure there are different types of karate. I am not an expert in karate, but I know what is a healthy mindset, whether you're doing karate or whether you're knitting. And that is not strike first. That is not, there is no fear, there is no pain. That's so toxic. And that is when people talk about the patriarchy a lot of the time, or when people talk about toxic masculinity, that is what we're talking about. Men in particular, but obviously there are some cases nowadays where women will get sucked into that too, where you feel like you can never show weakness, you can never show pain, you can never show, and that isn't healthy. That messes you up here, and then you inflict that pain on others, and that is clearly what Johnny has done. I presume that is why Johnny's life has ended up where it is, where I have no idea what happened in his personal life. I have no idea whether he inherited money from his family or not, but it seemed as though, and obviously his dad was pretty toxic, and Johnny is just doing the same thing with these kids. He's slightly better than his dad, but he's basically still doing the same thing. I do agree and get that Johnny kind of, that Johnny clearly went from being a kid with every opportunity in life, because let's face it, if you come from money, you have every opportunity in life. You can probably get into any college you want to because your parents just make a donation, to being someone living in a tiny apartment in a rough part of town, barely getting by. I do believe, now I imagine he was dealt some rough blows along the way. I'm not saying that like he was a terrible man and that's why it happened, but I also do think he's probably been his own enemy, because we have seen that when something bad happens to him, when he messes up, his response is, the world is making me pay, I'm the victim, to a degree. And then for him to treat those kids the way he did in that first session, I mean, it breaks my heart actually to think that those kids, they thought, oh my god, Miguel, when he joined our school, he was one of us, he was a loser, that he was geeky and small and weak, and now, oh my god, he beat the bullies up, he's so confident, he's so strong. they would have walked in there thinking they were going to get empowered, thinking that they were going to have someone who cared, looking out for them, like teaching them things to build up their own self-confidence and their self-worth, and then they just got belittled and treated like they were small. And it was worse because this wasn't by a child, this was by a grown man. And yet he still has the nerve to act that way. And then you have like Aisha saying, oh, the people that quit, they're pussies. You know, he's already teaching these kids that toxic mindset. And making yourself big by making others small isn't good. Point blank. It is bad. It makes you a horrible person when you act that way. And I just, I really hope that when every kid he had was someone he deemed a loser. I don't personally believe anyone is a loser. But with people that society in high school call losers in America and everywhere, I suppose, in the West at least, I thought maybe he'd learn a lesson, and I'm not going to apologise for that. Fuck you then. I wouldn't call him sensei. I would be like, okay, cool, if you're going to slag off everyone here, I'm not calling you sensei. I mean, I would also both quit and request my money back for the first session because all he did was berate me. But, I mean, if I came from a wealthy family, I suppose I would just quit. But, you know, I don't. Like, it makes me so mad. And like I keep saying, and I do want to reiterate, I don't despise Johnny. There are times when he does things that I despise, and in that exact moment I do, but on the whole, I don't. I think he's a sad, sad adult. I think his life did not go where he wanted it to, and I think instead of looking inside and seeing how much of that was his fault, or accepting that he was dealt a rough hand and trying to find the best of it and trying to make his way through it, he resorted to his Cobra Kai mentality of defeat is not an option. Well then, what happens when you do get defeated? Your brain can't cope with that because you can't feel pain, you can't feel fear, and you can't be defeated. It's just so toxic. So I'm going to try and move on from that right now, but my opinions are clear. I really enjoyed Daniel in this episode. The last episode, like I said, pissed me off. I don't agree. Anti-capitalism, and obviously Daniel is a rare example of the success story of the American dream, of the capitalistic dream. They teach you, like capitalists want you to believe that every single one of us, if you just work hard, you'll become rich. It's not the reality. You need some lucky breaks along the way. You need to be in the right place at the right time. For every person that works hard and makes it, there are 100 other, if not more, who have worked just as hard but didn't make it. And whether it's they weren't born with the charisma that Daniel has or whatever, that is such the concept that if you just work hard, you will make it. But Daniel has worked hard, and he fosters, you know, when you looked at his rival car company guy, when he tried to do the thing with the plants and everything, for him it was all a marketing gimmick. It was all, you know, cynical, and none of it was real, whereas at least from Daniel there is a genuine desire, and part of it is good showmanship, part of it is good salesmanship. I'm not saying that he wouldn't be where he was if he was not a good salesman, but he does put his own personality, his own spin, and his own authentic care into everything he does, and that goes into his employees as well. They all have a really good relationship with him, and when, you know, you could see another boss seeing a teenager storm out having just done a car and been like, oh fuck him then, good loss, like who cares, but he knew he'd worked hard in the morning, he knew something was up there, and he reached out, he made the effort. Now I don't know what will happen when they find out that he is a high school dropout and not a boy with a very good transcript who's taking time off work, off uni, which I think is what he said to Daniel's wife. I also don't know what will happen when he finds out who his father is, but what I saw in this episode was how adults handle situations. You have a dumb, stupid, childish adult, Johnny, and Louis, or whatever his name is, and when he did something, it caused a big scene or whatever, they straightened him out. They said, that is not acceptable. Now, did he immediately do something? Yes. But realistically, the second thing he did, it wasn't gonna get him fired, because, you know, the kid that was being hazed the day before turning up at your house saying this is the sales report and then it's, you know, a dirty magazine, isn't gonna get him fired, especially not when you know Daniel. It's a dick move, but it's a different level of hazing. You know, it's sort of one that Robbie will be able to deal with himself. It's not going to get him fired, and if anything, it's helping him actually bond with his boss a little bit over it. But just having the fact that they believed him, they believed in him, that Daniel, when he saw him storming out, when he felt like everyone was on him and like, you know, oh, this is just some other person, like, I've been screwed over here, and he kind of had the Johnny response of, oh, I just need to, like, I'm leaving, fuck it. The fact that Daniel went after him, listened to his side of it, believed him, or even just looked at the situation and believed him, believed in him enough to kind of ask him to come back to work and to talk to the other guy. That is how adults should handle the situations. And that is such just, for Robbie, his mother is clearly, as much as she loves her son, she is not a good mother to him. He has had to grow up far too fast in that relationship. And I still want to know more about what his relationship with Johnny was like, because Johnny has that picture of him in his football team on the fridge, which suggests that for a time he was there, but then from what the mother has said, Johnny was a very neglectful, absent father, and I kind of feel like part of that would be that he didn't have a father figure to look up to, but then neither really did Daniel. And plenty of people don't have father figures to look up to and are still able to be good fathers. I do believe Johnny now wants to try and be there for him, but 16 years, 17 years, however long it is too little too late. Now, if Robbie wants him in his life, I will support that, and I will definitely support Johnny trying everything he can, but you can't force your way back in. But Daniel and his wife, whose name is escaping me, that is something that could actually be a really good stabilising influence on Robbie were he to stick it out. I almost hope that if they find out the truth, that they encourage him to go back to school but give him like a weekend job or something, and that Daniel keeps teaching him the karate, because I think someone with his personality that is very hot-headed like Johnny's, and like Daniel's, to be honest, they really would benefit from the balance. You know, Daniel has benefited from he learned to take a step back, to not strike first, but to assess the situation and take a beat. And that's going to be something that's going to be so helpful for Johnny. Now, for Robbie, oh my god, everyone's names end in E. Samantha is still being bullied at school. That makes me very sad, but she knows it's a pack of lies, and to be honest, even if it was true, fuck them. I like Miguel for kind of reaching out to her a little bit, and I love how these kids are realistic, because, you know, his friend was bullied horrifically, yet he still kind of joins in on the laughing and the spreading of the rumours, because to survive, that's what you do, and that's why there needs to be a whole cultural shift in schools so that this is not the reality for kids. But there's some flirting going on with Samantha and with Miguel, and yes, when they find out he is the star pupil of Cobra Kai and she's Danny LaRusso's daughter, it's going to maybe be some bumps in the road, especially should she get her interest in karate rekindled. I would imagine she would go to her dad, because that's like she's already learnt a lot from him and they have a very good relationship, but we will see. This was a very good episode. I have a lot of very strong opinions, and I'm never going to be a reactor who is fake, who gets a bunch of comments that say, oh, actually, we disagree with you, and then on my next reaction I've suddenly changed my tune. I'm always just going to react how I react. And if that isn't enjoyable for you, that is 100% valid. If you love Johnny's character and you think he's hilarious, I mean, I don't bully people, but also that's totally fine. Stop watching my reactions for this show. I understand. There are some reactors who don't like a character I like, and I just sort of think, okay, yeah, I'm not going to watch their reactions to this show, and I move on. And if you just don't like me, that is also totally fine. You just don't have to watch my reactions. But I am really enjoying this show. I'm not really finding it funny, and I worry that that's because a lot of the humour is stuff that to me is offensive, but yeah. No, I am enjoying it. I'm invested in these characters and where they go. And I'm going to try and see the fact that Johnny opened up that he was also a loser once to these kids is a good sign that maybe the human in Johnny is going to start coming out. But I feel like we have a long way ahead of us. So yeah, this was a fantastic episode. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon 2 weeks in advance, the edited version 1 week in advance, and thank you for watching.